This conference will now be recorded.
You good? All right. All right, let's make sure Steve can hear.
Yeah, the
Can you
mic.
hear us? Commissioner Martin, can you hear us? I just want to make sure before we start, make sure we got all our audio right.
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you. We can hear you as well. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will start tonight's meeting. And as we start tonight's meeting, I'll ask everyone to please stand and remain standing. We're going to start off with Pledge Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If I would, Commissioner Waters, would you do an invocation for us, please, sir?
Let's bow our head and pray, please. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you now in the name of Jesus. We would like to say thank you for all your many blessings you have bestowed upon us in our community in this wonderful town of Cape Carteret. We pray, Father, Lord, as we go into the meeting, Lord, give us the direction, give us the wisdom and the knowledge to make decisions wisely for everyone for the betterment of our community. Thank you for what you've done, what you're going to do for us, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And if you would, please remain standing in a moment of silence for some of our citizens that have recently passed away, Mr. Robert Clifton Jr., Everett Morgan, and Pauline Turcotte. Thank you very much, everybody. Please be seated. It's great to see everybody. If you would, please turn off your phones or put them on vibrate so we won't hear all those lovely ringtones everybody has. And at this moment, I would like to ask any of the board members, if you have any conflict of interest with anything that is on the agenda tonight, please speak up now. If not, we'll move on to adoption of the agenda. As it is written, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, I can see you, Steve. Okay, motion passes. Next up is the consent agenda, which on that agenda is the acceptance of an easement, 101 WB McLean Drive, which is Starbucks, and the approval of the meetings from the 9/13 meeting. Do I have a motion? Thanks.
Yeah, I'd like to, 7A, I just have a question on the Starbucks easement.
Okay, we can have a
Take
discussion.
that out and put it at the end of the, or someplace else in the agenda. Take it out of the consent agenda. So we can have discussion.
Well, we can have a discussion about it on the consent agenda if you like.
Okay, if you want to do it that way, that's fine.
We just get a motion to,
Okay.
and you, so you want to make a motion to accept it?
Move to accept.
Okay, second. And now, discussion.
Yeah, I wondered why the two questions really. One, the abnormally low price of the bidder Able. Do you have any advice or any ideas on that, Zach?
Well, that's a separate issue, Mike. This is just for the easement that Starbucks is going to give us for the sidewalk.
Okay, then the
We'll
second,
be talking about the contract later in the agenda.
okay, the width of the sidewalk being different than the other end. I think we settled on from 10 to 8 because of some issues that we had some time ago. And this is 5 and the other one is 8.
Yeah, I think to provide the connection across that section, without having to do stormwater and other types of improvements, that's why we opted for a lower width there, just to make that connection. Also from the cost standpoint as well, wanted to make sure we could get that in there. But it achieves the purpose of connecting those two segments without pushing us into having to do stormwater retention and everything else. It's below the built upon area that would push us into that stormwater permit threshold.
Oh, okay, I'm fine with that. I looked at it over there and I could see why you may have wanted it narrower. But the question was, before, when we originally when we had to have a motion by the board when we went from 10 to 8 in the other sections, and we didn't on this, but I'm satisfied with that
Okay.
answer.
All right. Any other comments, questions? All right, if not, then all in favor? Okay, see you, Steve. Motion passes. Consent agenda approved. Next up is a public comment section. I just want to remind the people who are speaking that normally the board does not respond. This is your opportunity to speak your piece, so to speak. And if there is an issue, please bring it up to us. And then hopefully we can get a look at it afterwards to see if there is something we can do. A lot of times some issues are brought to us we're not aware of, or we like to get our facts before we do respond. So if we just sit up here and look at you, then please don't, we're not ignoring you. We just want to look into things as we go. So first up, we have, and if I'm terrible with names, so please forgive me if I butcher your names, is Holly and Jeremy Simmons from Yopon. Holly or Jeremy Simmons from Yopon. You all here? Going once. Going twice. All right. Next up is Steve Wood and Trina Wood from Dolphin Street. Just come on up the podium. Good evening. Thank you all for coming.
Yes, sir. What we would like to address are some problems that we see at the boat ramp. People not paying. It says in your rules, the vessel must be registered to a resident or property owner of Cape Carteret. Not registered to a dealership. At the bottom, number 5, it says no dealer plates allowed. Should this not include trailers without tax? It says the use of this facility by commercial enterprises of any kind is prohibited at the ramp and the parking areas. Should this not include demo boats from dealerships? Also, if there are going to be any new lifts installed down there, is that not a commercial enterprise? And with that, we're done.
Well, the only other thing is the police, they check down there for people that are parking there and looking for the tags on the boat, on the trailer. So all these people that are not paying for their parking pass or the trailer pass, they drop the boat off and take off and put it at their house or somewhere else. That's not right. Everybody else in town of Cape Carteret are paying it, or other, Petitera or anything like that. We're all paying. That's not right for somebody doing a dealership, because they are showing boats down here and it's like they getting money because they are selling their boat, they testing their boat out there. That's not fair to anybody else in this neighborhood or around us, because we're paying too. And that's why the police can't catch somebody, is because they're not down there to see people to get these ramps.
And
Okay.
I have questioned people coming out for 2 boats a couple weeks ago. And it was a very ugly situation. I was cussed at. I was told that their family paid to have that dredging done.
Which we know is not true because I did check, came up to the office and asked. And they
so
told me no.
our question to y'all is why isn't everybody being treated equal? There's some stuff going on that's not right.
Okay.
Thank you. Next up is Ms. Paxton Holtz. Good evening.
So I was very excited to get a letter from one of my former churches, a newsletter. And I've given all my handouts to Zach already today, but it was a wonderful program that my church and the town of Red Springs was sponsoring for people, particularly elderly, single people. And the police call them. If they don't call the police within a certain time of day, the police call them. And if they don't get an answer, they go by and check on them. So I spoke briefly to the chief and he's already investigating such a program. The problem is the software that does this is hard to get. It probably is made in China. So, but if we could initiate such a program for our seniors, it would just be a blessing for people to be checked on. That's all. So the chief's way ahead of me, but if you could do that program until he could get his software, it sure would be nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Plantania, I hope I said that right, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. I just wanted to come and express my feelings on the speed bumps down Clubhouse Drive. We really appreciate them. We love them. I say we, I'm speaking for a lot of my neighbors. I understand that they're a little contentious for some people, but for us, my children were out in the yard and watched a kid get hit by a vehicle. Really traumatizing. They stayed away from outside altogether. Like they didn't want to go outside. Put the speed bumps in. We slowly got them outside and out and going. My 4-year-old daughter at the time learned how to ride her bike. You know, she got out and actually rode her bike after seeing her friend get hit on her bike. I think the speed bumps are a great thing. We all do. I actually am glad that this is brought up because I think that we should be bringing speed bumps throughout Cape Carteret and also reducing the speed limit from 25 to 15 in the neighborhood. I don't know if any of you guys live in a residential neighborhood where people are driving by all the time, but it depends on who you are. If you care about people or whatever, you'll watch just whatever they have to do is way more important than following the law or what other people are doing around them. I watch a guy down the road, he walks with a walker all the time, and people just come blazing by him all the time. Like if we had speed bumps in areas, you'd have those few that would go over speed bump, then as fast as they can to the next speed bump. I mean, I don't know what else we could do with that other than having law enforcement posted up everywhere at all times. That's not feasible. So just for the good people out there doing what they're supposed to do, I think the speed bumps work. They do a good job, and I think we should spread it across all of Cape Carteret. Oh, and in closing, I'd just like to remind everybody of the invocation right at the beginning of making the decision that is best for all of the community. I mean, not for just certain individuals, but the entire community. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. And I think that is it for the public comment sheet for this section. All right, next up is the staff updates. Zach?
So we've got some ribbon cuttings that are happening tomorrow. We have the Ferry Landing Park ribbon cutting ceremony at 11 a.m. That's located at 307 Lejeune Road in the Bayshore Park subdivision. So hope everybody can join us for that. And followed by that, tomorrow afternoon, we have the Pettiford Creek launch site ribbon cutting ceremony. That's at 1:00 p.m. So something, it's been a long time coming. We're excited to see these parks getting opened up, and we're going to be bringing some paddle boards and kayaks and everything else. Some of the staff I know, and I think Mayor Baker might be bringing one as well. So encourage anybody who wants to paddle out with us. We're going to paddle over to Pettiford Creek and kind of break in the new launch. So really excited for that. Also, at the last meeting, we had a picture from the Holly Lane Park. I wanted to show the completed kayak storage rack that Commissioner King and Captain Roy Fish had worked on, and just show everybody that. That's going to be on the agenda later on this evening to set the rules and the annual rental amount. But definitely encourage folks to check that out. It's available on a first come, first served basis, and we've already had a lot of interest in that. So definitely we'll have that sign up information out probably tomorrow so that folks can go ahead and start signing up for that. Want to recognize the Public Works Department. They put in a lot of work up here on Quailwood to get this park looking good. So that's the best I've seen the park looking in many years. So just want to thank Ryan and the rest of the Public Works Department for a job well done up there. So they're really on top of things and getting these parks taken care of and getting them looking good. So I definitely have heard a lot of positive feedback on that, and encourage them to keep on tackling these parks and getting them where they need to be. They're also going to be working on some things this coming month with asphalt and the ditch work now that the debris pickup is completed. So, which they did 27 truckloads of debris during the pickup. It took 8 days to complete, and the next debris pickup takes place on November 29th. And make sure you place your debris out by November 28th, so that if your street is the street that they make the first pass on, that it gets picked up. We also have the Cape Carteret Fall Yard of the Season contest, which the judging will take place on October 29th, and make sure you sign up by October 28th. So we just have a handful of folks signed up so far, so the chances are pretty good at maybe winning some Lowe's gift cards. And you know, it's a pretty stiff competition usually, so definitely encourage folks, if you decorated and have some fall decorations out there, to sign up. You can sign up on the town website. Or you could give us a call if you're here at Town Hall and talk to Barbara, and she can walk you through the sign-up process. Also on October 29th at 6:30 p.m., we have Beetlejuice, which will be our October movie in the park event. So I hope everybody can come out for that. It looks like we got a lot of people signed up on Facebook, so hopefully I think it's over 100 people that are signed up, so hopefully we see that many people come out. So I definitely encourage y'all. It's a nice Friday evening in the park, and you know, it should be a good time. Also, right around the corner, we have the Fall Festival, which will take place on November 6th, and that's from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. right out here in the Cape Carteret Community Park. We have over 50 vendors signed up. We have a bunch of food trucks. We're going to have our popular Touch a Truck event, so that should be a good time for everybody. We'll have the Hank Bowman Bluegrass Band from 12 to 2, and Hank Barbie and Dust Parade from 4 to 6. So want to recognize our sponsors, the local government Federal Credit Union, the Crystal Coast Economic Development folks, and then the Lowe's Home Improvement as well. So just want to recognize our sponsors and encourage everybody to put that on your calendars and join us for that event. We're going to be also having some t-shirts for that as well. So if you're interested in a t-shirt, let us know sooner rather than later so that we can account for the number of t-shirts we need. We know that the Watermelon Festival t-shirts were a hot commodity, and a lot of folks wanted those. So definitely encourage everybody to get one of those and commemorate the event. And then finally, just want to mention something that is preliminary, and you know, it's going to be contingent upon approval by the North Carolina General Assembly and by Governor Cooper. And right now, the negotiations and debate is ongoing. So it's very preliminary, and I preface it with that. But I want to recognize Representative McElrath. We've been talking over the last several months, and she has put $500,000 in the draft budget for the state for the Cape Carteret Trail project. So I'm hopeful that the budget will be passed and approved, and that would be a significant contribution to getting this trail done. I think if we get pricing similar to what we've seen for some of these sections lately, that might be enough to finish the whole trail. And I really hope that the state budget is passed to include that. So definitely want to recognize Representative McElrath and thank her for her efforts. Like I say, it's contingent upon everybody coming together and agreeing in Raleigh and that working out, but very optimistic about that, and that's huge news for the town. If that all comes to fruition. So that's all I have this evening.
All righty. Chief, you got anything?
Very briefly, just appreciate the comments from the citizens, and of course, we are concerned about the same things, and we'll do our best to address those in the future. And Ms. Holtz, we spoke briefly. I spoke with Mr. Johnson as late as today, and he established the RUOK program, which was approved by our Board of Commissioners in July. Mr. Johnson works hand in hand with Way to Call, and unfortunately, these units have been back ordered for months. But the last word was that the units were supposed to be shipped the end of this week. So possibly within a couple of weeks, we can implement this program, which is a more automated program. It helps us out because we're such a small department. So it requires, more officers. A larger department's able to follow through with that program more easily. And then moving forward to the end of the month, I plan on having some officers on October the 31st strategically placed handing out candy. So look for the citizens to bring out their children and for them to come out and get a piece of candy also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up is consideration of the rezoning of I forgot the planning board update. Don't let me forget you, Susan.
Good evening, gentlemen. The planning board met for their regular meeting on October 5th. We elected a vice chair in accordance with the rules of procedures that was adopted this past August, and Bruce Williams was elected as vice chair. We reviewed the request to rezone 704 Highway 58 from R30 to R20, and the planning board voted unanimously to forward a favorable recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. We reviewed the land use plan with Ann Darby from Summit. She gave us a presentation. We also reviewed Summit's vision statement, but we rejected it. The planning board thought that it needed to address the 2045 vision for the town with more specifics looking forward. During that meeting, we also had the steering committee present and spoke as well. The next steps looking ahead for the land use plan is to create goals and objectives. Then we'll create the future land use maps. And finally, we'll develop the plan narrative. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I'm sorry I overlooked our public works. Anything you'd like to add to?
No, Zach pretty much covered everything. We've been plugging away the past month, trying to get our Prairie Lane Park and the High legislation. We're excited to get that really cut tomorrow. On that, we had our first debris pickup, which was a big success. Doing it in-house finally, feel of everything, so it's going to be a great better success moving forward. We'd love to offer that service more often to everybody, so know it's important. So, and like I said, this couple of months, we're working on some road repairs and continue ditch work throughout town. Keep stormwater issues going on. So we got some.
Awesome. Well, I've had nothing but great comments about your pickup, and staff did an awesome job. Even on Facebook and social media, everybody was just really, they were, who's doing the pickup? And I'm like, hey, it's us, it's our guys. So people are really impressed with the fact that we're sort of doing our own thing now. I think that's awesome. Great. Kudos to you guys. And now on to the consideration of the rezoning of 704 Highway 58 from residential R30 to commercial B20. Take your time.
start off now. So, the town of Cape Carteret has received a request from the property owner of 704 Highway 58 to rezone their property from R30 residential to B20 commercial. The property is bordered to the north by two properties zoned B20, and it is bordered to the south and east by properties that are zoned R30 residential. The applicant has indicated on their rezoning application that the anticipated use is plumbing office and warehouse/storage building. The plumbing office use is listed in the table of permitted and special uses as building trades, contractor shops, and yards, which is a special use in the B30 light industrial zoning district. The warehouse storage building use is a special use in the B30. Sorry about that. The applicant will need to also apply for a text amendment if they intend to add the described uses as either a permitted or special use in the table of permitted and special uses in the B20 commercial zoning district. It should be noted that the future use of the property may be any of those uses that are described in the table of permitted and special uses, and that any use not listed in the table is deemed to be a special use by default. All required public notice, mailings, and posting requirements were met in advance of the public hearing on this rezoning. These actions are summarized in the attached checklist. The proposed rezoning is consistent with section 4.2.2 of the town's 2007 Campbell Land Use Plan. The planning board voted unanimously at their meeting on October 5th, 2021 to forward a favorable recommendation of the proposed rezoning to the Board of Commissioners. And the requested action is for the Board of Commissioners to consider whether to approve or deny the proposed rezoning of the property located at 704 Highway 58 from R30 residential to B20 commercial. And then at everybody's seat, we also have a statement of reasonableness, which is something relatively new that's included in our UDO and is a 160D requirement. So we went ahead and prepared that. The board can make changes as needed, as appropriate, and we can modify that. But that's another step in this process that we'll have to take. And then we'll also need to do a public hearing as well.
Right. So I will entertain a motion to go out of the regular hearing and into a public hearing.
Move.
Thank you, Mike. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Okay, thank you. All approved. We have Ken Hudson is here for any questions that the board may have. Would you like to say anything, Ken, or just wait to see if anybody's got any questions? Okay, that'll be fine. And Mrs. Holtz. Hello again.
I was real glad that the planning board recommended unanimously a favorable recommendation to this board to approve this zoning request. And I brought several maps earlier, zoning maps that show this property heretofore much earlier was zoned B20. And one of the many things that this town needs is small businesses. And I can't think of anything better to have than a good plumber in town where we can reach them and get them quickly. And I just want to recommend this rezoning as a very good thing to happen. But of course, it's up to you fellas.
Thank you. And is anyone else in the audience would like to speak on this particular issue? If not, then I'll entertain a motion to go out of public hearing and back into the regular meeting. Motion. All right, second. All right, all in favor? Okay, thank you. All approve. Now we're back in regular session. Entertain a motion to consider or to approve of the rezoning of the 704 Highway 58 from residential R30 to commercial B20.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I have a second? Second. All righty. Any discussion? Commissioner King.
I have some issues with this. I'll see if I can start in the right place. First of all, the request is, the recommendation of the planning board was to rezone this B20, but it's a B30 use. And the only B30 we have is over on the other side of town. So I think and if it were B30, it would have to be a special use under our new ordinance. So that's an issue. I don't know why that this is wasn't requested as B30. The second thing I have is this property has a house on it. And as I understand, the house is going to be part of the operation and also adding an incidental warehouse, which drives it up to B30. And it just, to me, the house, the value of the house on there is more than the value of the property. And I don't know why we'd have an office like that in a house and then the storage of whatever equipment they're going to have there in the incidental warehouse. Number 3, the land use plan. Land use plan, which we're currently under review, is the thing that drives zoning in the town and dictates where we should go. We have a land use to make a walkable town center right in the middle of that triangle, and we have yet to see that. That land use plan won't be complete until December. I think it's going to be. I talked to Ann Darby this morning, and she said we'll probably have it done. So I would certainly want to see how this fits. And I'll tell you why. I could see if you look at that property, Hunter Brown Trail, which is a privately owned road owned by a number of different people, runs down there, and that may one day be the center of our town, cutting through there. You could have residential on one side and commercial on the other side, on the 58 side. Second, yet I think it would be hard pressed to get any access in there from DOT for new driveway and curb cuts in there other than what we have. The next problem that I saw as I walked the property, there's 2 properties that enter on 704 and cut across 704 and cut across the one south to get to a house down the street. There's no zoning, there's no easements or anything for that. And I see that as a problem. I also see the problem if that becomes a major traffic way, the way that road pitches up there, getting out onto the street, when your back wheels are down there, it's kind of difficult to see. Getting out of there. There's no talk of buffer requirements on the back where it joins the residential property. Let me see. And I would ask Zach, was there any response from adjacent or abutting property owners?
I'm not aware of any responses. I think Heather's shaking her head. She hasn't received any either.
Yeah. And finally, there's considerable other B20 property in the town to not rezone this to commercial. There's a lot of other available property. So I think we ought to table it, the motion, or table the project till after we get the land use plan, which will be here in December, so that we can see how this is going to fit in with it, rather than doing it prematurely. Any more comments?
Any other comments? All right, if no other comments, then we'll have our vote. All in favor? Okay, and all opposed. So motion carries 4-1.
Mr. Mayor, you need to also vote on the statement of reasonableness associated with that.
Okay. Has everybody got the statement in their packet? Okay, so motion to approve of the statement of reasonableness is going with the rezoning.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Without any discussion, I'll ask for all in favor. Okay, all opposed. Thank you. Motion carries 4-1. Thank you. Keep me straight now. All right, let's see. Next up is consideration of the GPM Southeast LLC ABC license. Zach.
All right, so this agenda item is the consideration of the ABC local government opinion form for 803 WB McLean Drive. GPM Southeast LLC has applied for an ABC permit for off-premise malt beverage and unfortified wine. 803 WB McLean Drive currently operates as a gas station and convenience store named Handy Mart. 803 WB McLean Drive is located in the B20 commercial zoning district. The property abuts lots that are also zoned B20 commercial. And the requested action is for the Board of Commissioners to consider approving the applicant and location for the ABC permit and to authorize Mayor Baker to sign off as the designated official on the local government opinion form.
All right, do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay, second.
Second.
Thank you, Steve. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's not very clear from this write-up what's going on here. I researched this, and it appears to me that this is only due to change in ownership. Is that correct, Zach?
Yes, that's my understanding is when they have a change in ownership, the entity listed on this form has to be updated.
Okay. As, the current, the convenience mart side of this facility already has off-premise beer and wine sales. I thought when I saw this request, it was for the which is an integral part of that building, but it is not. In fact, the application, state law requires that when there's a change in ownership, and there is a change in ownership coming up here, that they must reapply, because if they let the permit expire and then try to get it later, they're going to be out of business for a period of time. So
Right.
That's really what this is about, and it wasn't clear in the write-up.
Any other comments, questions? All right, if not, then all in favor? Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. And we have another one, consideration of Gariba Enterprises LLC ABC license. This is for Mike's Restaurant, and I believe Mark is here from Mike's if anybody has any questions.
Yep, and this is the same thing. So this one is an ABC permit, on-premise malt beverage and unfortified wine. So this is on-premise, and I don't believe there's an existing one in place there. This would be adding, this would be creating a new one. So for the property located at 1000 WB McLean Drive, currently operates as a restaurant named Mike's Place, and it is zoned B20. The adjacent properties to the south are zoned R10, and the property across Bayshore Drive is zoned B20 commercial. And so the action, requested action once again is asking for the Board of Commissioners to consider approving the applicant and location for the ABC permit and to authorize Mayor Baker to sign off as the designated official on the local government opinion form.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move to approve.
Okay, second. A second? Okay.
Second.
Any, excuse me, any comments, discussion? If not, then we'll call for a vote. All in favor? And 5-0. So Mark, I assume you're going to start doing dinner? Is that the key? All right, so I can get a glass of wine with my fish plate. Y'all have a great evening. All right, next up is the selection of the Cape Carteret Trail Highway 24 connector contractor.
All right, the town of Cape Carteret recently solicited proposals for the construction of an 8-foot wide asphalt multi-use trail within easements located parallel to the northern right-of-way of Highway 24. The town has the necessary easements in place as well as the Camo Minor development permit. Once a contractor has been selected, we can begin work on this important trail section in the coming weeks. This segment will connect the planned walkway over Deer Creek to the existing trail section that currently ends near Handy Mart. The proposals that were received are summarized at the table there on the screen. Triangle Construction Services, $80,500. M&W Land Improvement, $79,210.95. Sunland, $107,790. And Able Paving and Seal Coating Incorporated, $22,500. There was a total of $127,340, which was the motor vehicle special tax plus the Carteret County funds that were available prior to the September meeting. At the September Board of Commissioners meeting, the board allocated $81,500 for the elevated walkway section of the project over Deer Creek. This leaves an available remaining balance of $45,840 for the Highway 24 connector segment. Based on the proposals received and the limited remaining funding amount available, staff recommends the selection of Able Paving and Seal Coating as the contractor for the project. And the Board of Commissioners are asked to consider authorizing the town manager in consultation with the town attorney to enter into a contract with Able Paving and Seal Coating Incorporated for the construction of the Highway 24 trail connector segment. And the attachments were the RFP for the Highway 24 connector segment, as well as the bid tabulation.
Able Construction. Catching up with you, hang on. Able Paving, okay. All right, do I have a motion to accept Able Paving for the project?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
And discussion.
Yeah, the question, we've used Able on two other jobs, right, in the town?
Yes, yeah, they did the parking lot right out here, and then they also just completed the Pettiford Creek launch site, and that was
Right.
the right turn lane into the property as well as the parking lot area.
Yeah, it just noticeably lower than other people.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of bids in my lifetime, but never anything that's noticeably that low. No mobilization fee, and so, but it's to our benefit.
Yes, sir.
This will just be the section from the Handy Mart down to the creek where we're going to construct the boardwalk, correct?
Yes, it'll tie.
Boardwalk will be another project.
Yes.
Yeah, Harbor
All right.
Contracting's doing that section.
Any more comments, questions? Not, then all in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Mayor Bailey, what is the county contributing? They voted not long ago to give us money toward our trail.
That is correct.
Different section of the trail?
That's for the trail in general. It was 60 some thousand.
Right.
63,000.
Yeah, 63,000, I think is what it was. And it was for the trail in general. So we can use it in either section we choose. And luckily we'll be able to use it for a big portion of this 24 the way these bids came out. So we're very happy with that. I love spending other people's money. And, but in fact, it's our money because we paid these county taxes. So it's nice to get a little bit of it back from the county, right? All right, next up is the selection of the Cape Carteret Trail. I'm sorry, the 101 WB McLean Drive sidewalk connector, which is part of the trail.
The town of Cape Carteret recently solicited proposals for the construction of a 5-foot wide concrete sidewalk to connect the existing asphalt trail section along NC 58 with the existing concrete trail section in front of Walgreens. The town has secured an easement from Swain and Associates / Starbucks that runs along the entire length of the property. Based on the bids that were received, the town has sufficient funding left over from the Highway 24 Deer Creek Walkway and Highway 24 connector segment to fund this project. And a tabulation of the bids that were received is shown there on the screen. Triangle Construction Services Incorporated, $35,300. Thomas Simpson Construction, $22,100. 101, and Able Paving and Seal Coating Incorporated, $10,000. The requested action is for the Board of Commissioners to consider authorizing the town manager in consultation with the town attorney to enter into a contract with the lowest bidder for the construction of the 101 WB McLean Drive Trail Connector segment. And the attachments for the RFP for 101 WB McLean Drive and the tabulation.
All right, so once again, we're asked for a motion to accept Able Paving to do the section of the 101 WB McLean Drive sidewalk. Do I have a second? Any discussion?
Just one
Commissioner
comment.
King.
Zach, I've got a question I should have asked the last time. Do you place a deadline on these contractors, completion deadline?
Yes, yeah, we do set deadlines that they have to complete the contract by. And usually we don't have any issues with meeting those deadlines. With the Pettifer Creek launch site, that holdup was actually on the stormwater permitting side rather than on the contractor side. So we had some holdup on the state side for that.
Okay, that's what I was alluding to. I knew there was some issues up there that prolonged the completion of that. So that's why I asked that question. Thanks.
Commissioner King?
Yeah, I just want to point out for the benefit of the people here, this sidewalk has been a long struggle. In 2000, when we widened the road, the board sitting here, and none of these people were here, I had the opportunity to get 5-foot sidewalks on both sides of the road for virtually nothing and chose not to do it. So it's been a major struggle to get this thing done, and I want to thank Zach for all the work and all the grant money he's been able to get. The very first grant that we got, I got, and it was 92% of it, but it dried up after that. So it's been a difficult struggle, but we're getting there.
All right, any other comments? If not, then I'll call for all in favor. Motion carries 5-0. Next up is discussion of Starlight Drive stormwater issue.
All right, so at the September 2021 Board of Commissioners meeting, residents from Starlight Drive spoke during the public comment period about recurrent flooding issues in their backyards. At the Board of Commissioners meeting in October of 2019, town staff presented a memo regarding the establishment of an easement so that the town could remove undergrowth and restore adequate flow of stormwater in this area. There was no action taken or direction given for staff to proceed with securing an easement at this location back at that time. After the September 2021 meeting, conversations between board members and residents along Starlight Drive appeared to indicate that there is an interest in establishing a stormwater easement at this location. And we've got the location map there just showing the general location. And the requested action is for the Board of Commissioners to provide direction to town staff on whether staff should pursue establishing a stormwater easement at this location. And if that's the direction we receive this evening, we can work on identifying which property owners are willing to participate and get one drafted up for the next board meeting so that we can pursue that action.
All right, I rode out there and met with these fine people. They're here tonight and looked at the area. And as we saw here again, when y'all came to see us last week, I had to, get myself up to date on what your issue was. And the problem is that, yes, you had easements behind your houses and you guys did the right thing. You did your fences right up to that line and you left that right of way open, which we were supposed to do. But there was no egress. There was no entrance that was done for the lot above you. So once that lot was bought, they put up a fence. The town had no way to continue to get back there. And because the town had been doing that, I could see your point of view to where, we sort of left you hung high and dry. But after going out there and looking at it, there's only really one place of a good entrance, and that was Mr. Jackson, I believe, is his property. And I think he has agreed to allow the town an easement to go through his property, which is a straight shot right back to it, to be able to access that and for us to clear it up. So I guess it would be up to this board to whether you guys would entertain that, allowing us to do that with Mr. Jackson, get an easement with him, and we can go in there and go back to clearing that out.
Now, you'll bring the easement back to the board once you get it in place.
Yes. So I just thought I'd give you that little bit of history, and Commissioner Waters also met out there with the people as well. And he saw the same thing I did, that, you know, everything is just, it just got growed up around you. I mean, it really no fault of your own, but you guys, like I say, y'all did the right thing with your fences. And there's so many places I go right around town to where people put their fences on the easements to right. It always makes it impossible, you know, for like even the power companies to get back to. So I congratulate you on that. So now I think, you know, we need to go back to taking that up and getting that squared away. So with that, I'll ask the board for a motion to do just that.
Make a motion to secure an easement in this location. We should consider limiting the scope of the activities to be performed by the town by removing undergrowth, vegetation, and making grade adjustments as necessary to the flow of stormwater to the town's culvert.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any more comments or discussion, gentlemen?
I think I met with Mr. Jackson out there one time years ago. And Buddy used to take care of that. It's just kind of slipped through the crack, I guess. We don't have an easement in place, so I think it's a good way to fix it.
Right. It was one of those weird things. When I looked at the plans, I'm like, why would they, you know, just things happen, you know, and so we just have to deal with them after the fact. And you're not alone. We have other issues in town. We're going to have to deal with one at a time as we go and try to take care of them. So any other comments or discussions? If not, then all in favor? All right, motion carries 5-0. Mr. Jackson, we'll be trying to get up with you, and hopefully we can get back here and get that cleaned out and get those snakes moved to another neighborhood.
Remove this.
Thank you. I'm sorry you guys had to deal with that, but like I say, you know, we're trying to do the right thing. Okay, next up, kayak storage racks. While he's looking that up, I'll just say that, Mike, I'm very, very impressed with the construction of those. Very well done.
So as mentioned in the update section, Commissioner King and Captain Royfish recently constructed kayak storage racks at the Holly Lane Park and Bayshore Park Pier. Town staff will utilize an application process similar to the process that is utilized for the boat ramp. At a previous Board of Commissioners meeting, a fee amount of $25 for an annual pass was suggested. Town staff have developed an application for interested parties to complete. Passes will be distributed on a first come, first served basis. The application contains hold harmless provisions and a requirement that the owner of the kayak, canoe, or paddleboard must remove their property from the rack when a named storm threatens the area. And the requested action is for the Board of Commissioners to set a fee amount for the annual pass for the kayak storage rack, and that this fee amount be incorporated into the fee schedule contained within the FY 21-22 budget. And the attachment is the kayak storage rack application.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. I now see the $25 is what you're suggesting.
Yeah, I think that's
Staff is suggesting $25.
That's what I suggested. I had no idea.
Well, it's new to us, so just as a start, I guess. Okay. All right, well, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to move forward.
Okay. Do I have a second? All right, any discussion?
One item.
Commissioner King?
For people who rent it on a yearly basis, will you have a mechanism, Zach, so that if they renew prior to, say, June 1st, if that's going to be, or July 1st, that they can have it year after year? Is that going to be part of the deal? Or are they going to have to be first come, first serve every year?
I think that would be a good item for the board to provide direction on whether we hold it. You know, let's say somebody could hold a pass for 5 years for that same spot, or do we want to open it up each year to a first come, first served basis for people to continue to use those spots?
Well,
I think that decision would have to be made when we see how many people are going to use it. I mean, how many total kayaks?
it'll be each spot that, you can get 2 kayaks on one rental spot, and there's 6 of them at each of the parks. So, you know, now if somebody, and I understand you're gonna have put a decal on that, is that correct? So that's pretty much what it is.
I think if we get them filled up and then we've got 15 or 20 people after the fact coming forward trying to get one, but they can't get one filled up, I don't think that 15 or 20 people should now just be out because people that are on there just want to kind of keep it forever. I think it should go each year. Or at least we should see, you know, how many people we have coming forward.
Well, for the first year, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, see how it goes.
We can revisit it.
It's just like, say you get your pass on July 1st for the whole year. If that person, while they still have it on June 15th of the next year, can they reapply and get that same thing, which would allow them to have it perpetually? That's kind of the question. Or are you going to just say, all right, we start all over on July 1st? And
Well, I sort of like with Don on that is let's see what the interest is. And just for right now, make it first come, first serve till next year. And then we can look at it again and see if that's
and then you can build.
because I know what you're saying. It'd be nice to be able to keep the same spot.
So $25 is one ticket.
Yes, yeah, for one pass.
So guy who's got 2 or 3 different kayaks, got one for spring, one for summer, one for fall. And he wants to shift them around, but he's only got one sticker. Is there a provision for additional stickers or?
I'd have never thought of that.
removable stickers?
Never thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, we could do, because we don't know how the stickers are going to work versus we talked about also doing like a tag or something like that as well. So if it was a tag, then they could, in theory, switch it from one to the other.
If you wouldn't want a tag that somebody could come by at night and undo.
Yeah, but we might run into that too with the stickers. So that's that is a good point. If there's direction on that.
I don't have a color. I just see them.
I guess we can cross that bridge if we need.
Yeah, we can see if somebody
Bring
maybe.
it for the first year.
Yeah, let's see what kind of response we get to begin with. We'll go from there. If somebody does have seasonal kayaks, we can try to resolve that. They can come to the board meeting.
Yep.
Tell us about it, because I like to see these seasonal kayaks.
Yes.
I know they're out there. I know they're out there.
And I think, like Commissioner King was saying,
Yeah.
we do have, let's say we have 10 or 15 people who are interested and we've already handed out all the passes. That's a good indicator that we can build some more. So
Yeah.
There you go.
hopefully that
Okay.
is a problem we have, so we can keep building them at each park. So.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I think with any kind of new program, the unknowns are, it's going to take a year to figure out all this and tweak it as we go along. But Zach, I feel like we're going to be heading to either building more storage racks or a lottery system in the future, because I think it'd be unfair to allow someone to keep it 5 years, 10 years, whatever, without getting somebody else a chance. So I think a lottery system may be something to be discussed in the future if it's popular, that or build more racks.
All right. Any other comments, suggestions? Not then, as it is, with the $25 annual pass, do I have a motion?
So move.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
All in favor? All righty. Motion carries 5-0. And next up is discussion of the Clubhouse Drive speed bumps.
So So in September 2019, the town of Cape Carteret installed 2 speed bumps on Clubhouse Drive. The speed bumps were installed after a child riding her bike was hit on Clubhouse Drive near her home. These were the first and only set of speed bumps that the town has installed. Special permission was granted for the installation by Chief Hunter due to the circumstances at the time. The speed bumps have slowed traffic on this portion of Clubhouse Drive, but have also had unintended consequences with motorists driving off the road to drive around the speed bumps. The speed bumps have also garnered a substantial number of complaints from residents who travel along Clubhouse Drive each day. Several residents have circulated a petition among the residents of Clubhouse Drive, Sutton Drive, and Fairway Lane asking for the speed bumps to be removed. So the requested action is for the Board of Commissioners to provide direction to town staff on whether or not to remove the speed bumps from Clubhouse Drive. And the attachment is the speed bump petition that was circulated and turned into Town Hall.
Everybody's got that in their packet. Has anybody talked to Chief Hunter? Has he had any yay or nay on it? Has it affected their
So we do
ability to service or anything?
We do have a letter, if needed, from Chief Hunter that talks about speed bumps, that they really are pretty against speed bumps going in just because it does hinder emergency response times. I can see if I can pass that around. But yeah, it's generally they're going to be opposed to speed bumps going in. They have concerns about their response times. But this was a unique circumstance, this particular instance. So that's how these speed bumps went in.
Everybody's passing this out. I'm just going to open this up for discussion with the board. Anybody has anything they want to say?
I noticed that on the petition, nobody from Clubhouse Drive was in favor.
My question would be on that same thing, where did they choose not to sign it, or were they not offered?
No, we actually know residents of Clubhouse Drive that could not be here tonight.
I'm sorry.
We know residents of Clubhouse Drive who were not able to be here tonight due to, elderly or not wanting to be out because of COVID, that are in support of the speed bumps. Many of them.
No, we weren't asked. Nobody, at least all of us, we were in Clubhouse, none of us got asked.
Which we wouldn't have signed it, obviously.
Because you're here,
It's a dual.
want to keep them right.
And this is not an isolated event. There have been reports that have been given to the chief on speeding drivers. This is a systemic speeding problem that is not isolated by the event that happened when the child was hit.
The issue of people driving on the grass or trying to avoid the thing we saw if you put a bollard on either side. Each
pull my rock.
We'll have to drive around it.
So yeah, they would steal. I actually put a landscape block out there 5 different times, and it was stolen every time. Kind of, whatever.
And my question is, why would we want to reduce safety? That reduces the safety on our street. There are over 7 children on Clubhouse Drive and them that are in primary school age that would love to be able to utilize the street more often in a safe manner. And it's just very difficult to even walk as adults down that street. Also, we have a lot of construction going on. As you know, there's new houses being built past Clubhouse Drive, all of Sutton and Fairway and all over in that area. We have a lot of non-resident constructions that folks that are coming through, also speeding through the neighborhood.
Almost all the lots are home.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of
There's
construction
three
going on.
houses being built now, but there were probably only 2 lots.
But yeah, I would even argue that the people living down Sutton and everything, if there was a petition sent out for who would want to add speed bumps, there would be a number of families signing a petition to add speed bumps. I know through Old Cape Carteret.
Only a handful.
Okay. All right. Well,
I took a petition. And there were very, very few people that wanted to sign the petition. Well, it was almost universal. And as far as speeding goes, it's universal to the whole United States. It's not just on Clubhouse Drive or anywhere. And I looked up the statute for what the speed limit is in residential areas. When it is 25 miles an hour, unless otherwise posted. My theory is otherwise posted. If it was 15 miles an hour, nobody would be going 30. You know, you give it slowly.
I agree.
And I don't think
All right.
speed bumps slow anybody down. They just go with them and go on their way and get annoyed with the process.
All right, thank y'all for y'all's comments. Any comments from the board?
Yes, I'd like to know what Chief McKinney thinks about the speed bumps. We've heard what Chief Hunter thinks. What's our chief think about it?
If you would step up to the podium if you have a comment, Chief, so everybody can hear you online.
Well, I can say this for a fact. We'll take Jacksonville. There used to be speed bumps. I know someone personally, talk with them weekly. Those speed bumps have been removed. And it's not just response time, but it's detrimental to the equipment that's passing over those speed bumps. And I have done lots of speed studies in Cape Carteret. I know that speeds seem a lot faster than what they actually are. I'm not saying that there's not occasional speeders, but I'm saying that 27 or 28 sometimes seems like 30 or 35. If you're standing out in a yard, if you're close proximity to the street, it's going to seem faster. If you're looking up down an incline, up an incline, in a curve, there's an optical illusion. It's going to always appear faster. I've had my guys go out and do studies. I've posted some of those studies online before. I have a handheld radar. I still go out, and I have recently done studies on a portion of Star Hill Drive, and the mayor's aware of that, and the speeds are just not what people think they are. So I have to agree with Chief Hunter. They're detrimental to equipment, and you're going to have the occasional speeders, and unfortunately we don't have enough officers to give full coverage all the time in Cape Carteret. But I myself go over. I'm sure some people are aware that I've been over there on Sutton Drive, and I've done a speed study over there recently. So I have to say that we did what we felt best at the time, but I would tend to agree that those probably do need to come out. And I understand there's going to be some people that agree, some don't, but that's just my personal opinion on it. So I'm just, if they stay, I'm fine with it. If they don't, then so be it.
So what's the speed limit there now, Chief?
25.
25. So let's say if we took them out, how would you feel about lowering the speed limit?
I would say that would be an alternate answer, which would be much more appropriate to lower it down to 15. That would be my answer for that. And I have spoken personally with Chief Hunter, and I did request a letter from him because he agrees with me, and I stand behind his decision because of his experience and his reasoning behind that, which is justifiable. So that's my take on it.
Anybody
Thank you, Chief.
Anybody else have any questions for the chief while he's standing here? Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, again, let me give you an example. What's the speed limit in Cedar Point? What does everybody do? There you go. There's your answer.
Okay. You've always got those few, and I don't care where you're at, they're going to do that. All right, so gentlemen, do I have anybody who wants to make a motion either way? Or recommendation?
I would just like to say, actually, I had a conversation with you, sir, a couple of years ago at Whiskey Bravos pertaining to the incident that took place in front of your home. And it was a tragic day for your family. It was a tragic day for the family whose child was hit by that vehicle. But however, there are going to be people going to speed, irregardless of the speed limits, irregardless if there's speed bumps there. I have seen trucks. You have seen trucks going to speed bumps and do not even slow down. I'm sure of it. That's just how it is. It's like a lock on the door. A lock keeps the honest person honest. The speed limit keeps the honest driver honest, supposedly. You can't catch them all, but we do our best about keeping the folks safe on the highways, on the roadways, within our towns. And if there's anybody up here, I'm a very hardcore person about safety. I was when I was the chief of police in Emerald Isle. I'm all about safety. But also, on the other hand, like what Chief Hunter has said pertaining to emergency vehicles, it is very tough on the equipment. Let's take the equipment out of that. A person in the back of an ambulance that has had an injury going over a speed bump is very bad for that patient. It can even cause more injury to the patient. I've actually witnessed that. There's no right or wrong with this. It's about what's going to be best. And sir, I agree with my implication, what I said earlier, sir. It's about what's best for everybody. What is best for everybody? I am not for speed bumps pertaining to quick response for emergency vehicles. People are transported back to ambulances, how hard it is on their bodies. But I have to say that lowering the speed limit probably would not be a bad idea. But will it keep the speed or keep them speeding? So we all know that. We know the answer to that question. So it's just one of the things we have to address sometimes. And I do sympathize with y'all, sir, and your families on Clubhouse Drive. But we try to do what's best for everybody, as we say.
It's a lot easier, just a simple solution. Just try this 15 miles an hour. Then you don't have to hurry up the speed bump.
Please. I speak in front of having a dark hair. And every year when a new teenagers become drivers, speed the light rating. 4 years ago, I had an accident over there, just like that. And I complained next month, it's put 4-way stop sign. Put next day, somebody took the Jews pull out that threw it away in the water. Over there with the Star Hill and Quillwood 4-way stop sign. It's lunching. Get that. Fire department over there in Western Park. If you want to go towards Highway 24, go over there and check how many speed bumper is in a row. I think 7 or 8 speed bumper from the fire department. And go in Highway 24, just to go over there and see how many speed bumpers over there.
And it's also a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit.
That's correct.
Right.
I forget that, you're right.
Okay.
Because I drive there many times in the shortcut, you can't see.
All right, so is there a motion?
I move that the speed bumps be removed and the speed limit drop to 15 miles per hour.
On Clubhouse?
Clubhouse Drive only.
Maintain 25 on Sutton and Fairway.
That seems like to be the problem area.
No, not at all. Still Sutton, like, I don't know anybody from Sutton down there. You're from Sutton. Yeah, I mean, it's still the same issue, I think the entire town in residential areas need to go down to 15 miles an hour. I mean, it would make it easier for Chief and his team to do their job. You know, it won't be that 28 question,
Okay.
you know, you're going 22 miles an hour. Going 7 over the speed.
Why did you guys add the stop signs all the way down Yulon and all these other speeds, right? Well, same thing's happening there. Yes, the speed bumps are too far apart because they were trying to take care of the golf course. Looking where the kids are, it'll be a lot closer.
Mayor, can I speak, please?
Sure, go ahead, Steve.
I think we need to stick to the agenda, and the agenda reads whether to take up the speed bumps or not. And I think the issue with a speed limit reduction or increase anywhere in town should be on a separate agenda at another time.
Okay. We do have a motion, though, to remove the speed bump and add or reduce the speed to 15 miles an hour. Is there a second?
I'm on the second, so we can go into discussion.
All right, so we have a second, so now we'll go into discussion on that.
I think that,
Don's got the floor, Steve. Hang on a second.
okay, I can't see him, so sorry.
It's okay.
I think we do need to have further discussion as far as throughout the town on speed limit. I would be highly receptive to us lowering speed limit throughout town residential street. Because that's the fact, everybody, speed limit's 25 miles per hour, people are going to drive average 30 to 35. If we lower the speed limit, if it's 15, then you're going to be looking at people probably going 20 to 25 and so forth. I think that is something we can look at. I'm not a fan of speed bumps on residential streets. I mean, because if it's justifiable on Clubhouse, you can make the same justification for literally every street in Cape Carteret. There's children everywhere. I'm just not a fan of putting speed bumps up. I think there's other ways to do it. Lowering the speed limit, aggressive traffic enforcement when required, and police, I mean, they can't be everywhere. They can't be everywhere at one time. But I know as a former police chief and former police officer, I mean, as we get complaints about certain areas of town, in 2 or 3 days, we hit that area hard. You start writing tickets, people start slowing down. They get the message. And then you move on to the next area, and you're constantly doing that. But I think with aggressive enforcement and lowering the speed limit, I'm just more a fan of that than speed bumps.
Let's definitely add that as far as a townwide discussion to the agenda for next month. But as far as the motion in question, is there any other comments? Steve, you had a comment?
Yeah, I was just wanted to reiterate what I said earlier, that I think it should be a separate agenda, or we're gonna have a mad rush from all sections of neighborhoods in our town wanting to lower the speed limit. I think there needs to be a study done on it first, with the chief and Chief Hunter involved in it. Any change in the speed limits should be on a separate agenda. To change the speed limit tonight in conjunction with removing the speed bumps would be a knee-jerk reaction like took place when the speed bumps were installed.
All right.
Yeah, just a couple of points. It was brought up earlier by somebody here. I don't remember just who. We start this whole thing on speed, and the town started with the stop signs four-way stops down in Bay Shore. And it grew with the discussion of speed bumps in Old Cape Carteret. Now we got 4 or 5 different four-way stops in there. So that's a precedent. The speed bumps do slow the people down up there. It's just, and those are the kind, you got the speed bumps and you got some of the, you can go over 25 and you don't, your head doesn't hit the ceiling, but on these, if you went over them 25, that's what happened. And what drives me is most noticeably, there's 36 signatures on this petition, and there isn't one from the area in question. So it says something to me.
Okay.
Done.
All right. Well, we did have a motion, a second on removing the speed bumps and lowering the speed to 15 on just the Clubhouse Drive. So all in favor of that motion? It's 2. All opposed? Okay, that motion fails.
Yeah, on a
3-2.
the 15 mile an hour speed limit, I agree with Commissioner Martin that we should do some more in-depth study. But I think that 15 mile on Clubhouse, Sutton, and Fairway would be a sample. I mean, rather than do it the whole town, try it there first. And that would be part of a study. And see if people actually really do slow down to 25 when it says 15. And I don't know whether that would replace speed bumps or not. Now we have some signs around here, only you can slow down, only you can prevent speed bumps, which I really enjoy the sign.
Yeah.
Thank you. But, you know, 15 mile an hour, geez, I would hate to have to get someplace down, all the way down Star Hill Road at 15 miles an hour. So maybe we keep that one at 25. But I'm reluctant to want to remove those speed bumps until we can do something with the actual speed limit.
Okay.
So I would move that until we can have a study that shows 15 miles an hour would be as good as speed bumps, that we maintain the speed bumps on Country Club for the time being.
Is that a motion, Jim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mayor, can I inject here? What was the vote on the motion that was on the table?
The previous motion failed 3-2.
Thank you.
And now we have a motion from Jim to leave the speed bumps in place until a study can be done to reduce the speed to 15 miles an hour.
We need that motion by the previous motion failed and the speed bumps are going to stay in place.
Pretty much true.
That's
I get, yeah, okay.
We could discuss having lower, studies for lower speed limit.
We only need a motion for the.
So we can just direct staff to put that on the agenda for future and see if we can gather some data.
One thing I'll comment is back in the day, Chief McKinney had done a speed study over on Sutton Drive, did 65 clocks with an average speed of 22.78 miles per hour. So if we could maybe get some of that data for all streets in question that, as people come in and bring this to the attention of the board, I think that's a good way to kind of establish what kind of speed we're seeing out there. That tells us a little bit if they're under the 25 on average, and they look like they're going fast, you might have to either go to a 20 or a 15, but that's definitely something to talk about. But I know Chief is able to, put that data together, and we can look at a street by street basis if needed for future meetings.
Okay. All right, then we'll just gather some more data and things just stand as they are, and we'll get some more information and revisit this. And with that, we go to Commissioner reports. I'll start with Commissioner Martin.
Yes, Ryan, are you still in the house?
Yes, he is.
I tell you, I hate to sound like a broken record, Ryan, but it's a pleasure to serve on this board in light of all the controversial issues we've had to deal with over the years, and continue to hear all the good things about your department, the transition, the turnaround, the complete turnaround that you've managed to accomplish over there is I'm beyond words for that. I've heard absolutely nothing negative about your department. It compares to when Chief McKinney took over the police department. I'm very pleased with both of those departments. As I've told Zach before, I never have heard anything bad about the admin department, so that's why I never say anything about that. But Ryan, good job, man. I mean, it's a pleasure to have somebody on board that really cares about their job and has made improvements to our town like you have, and your department. Thanks.
Commissioner King?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, how many of your crew did you staff for that? You did it in 8 days with just the 2 people that I saw?
Yeah, we did it in 8 full days. I was driving and operating, we had a ground guy, do the raking and get smaller ones up. That was 8 days, and I really think it depends on our first in-house, definitely be able to do it quicker and more efficient. Like I said, this first one was a big learning experience, just how the machine operates, how efficient we can get with it, operating it, getting closer to treating power lines, running the dumping back, start times, end times, so efficient from here on out.
Yeah, I was really surprised that you're able to do it in 8 days when I rode around and looked at all the piles there. So I'm very much encouraged that, you know, it took just half of your staff do this. It took 2 weeks. Good job. It really worked out well.
Like I said, thank you.
That's all I have.
Mr. Waters?
Kudos again to the Public Works Department. I saw them actually in action from the house. Thank y'all for what you're doing, and I'm sure the 8 days will turn into probably 2 to 3 days next time. But in the police department, I know your calls are expanding, and kudos to your team and your crew for doing what they're doing as well. And administrative staff, efficiency, thank you as well for getting the information out to us when we need it. Going back to what Ms. Holtz stood up and spoke about last chat a minute. Yes, that's the program I was very seeking after, RUOK program. And of course, I know when that program gets installed, implemented, it's going to make a big difference within our town. Thank you for bringing this one to our attention. Because if that one don't work out, we've got something else to go back to. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Miller?
I also want to give kudos to Ryan, the chief, actually all of the staff for the work they've been doing lately. I'm real happy, Zach, to see that this trail is finally, we're going to start seeing progress on it. And we're bidding on contractors tonight where we can at least get the Highway 24 portion finished, get the boardwalk finished. And then that's very exciting news about possibly what we might be getting from the state later to complete it. And I'd also like to encourage anyone that's available tomorrow. As was mentioned earlier, we've got 2 ribbon cuttings going on tomorrow, one at 11 o'clock over here at the ferry landing and one at 1 o'clock over at the kayak. And both of these projects have been a long time in coming, and it's going to be good to get both of them up and running. Look forward to that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Nayless?
Yeah, actually.
You got something for me? All right. Hang on, let me make sure the mic's on. Okay.
Another event this week, Thursday is the beginning of early voting for municipal elections. And hope all of you can make it out there. Let your wishes be known, who you want to be your next commissioners. That's it.
And I will echo everything all the other commissioners said, and I don't want to blow Ryan's head up too big, but yes, awesome job. Great job. I was hoping to catch them when they came by my house. I went around the backyard, and time I went around by the front, I'm like, hey, my stuff's gone. It was raked up. Everything was left in immaculate condition. And so just great job, guys. Great job. And that comes from great leadership. And that's your leadership as well as Zach's leadership. And so just awesome work. And I want to also acknowledge our staff here at Town Hall. You guys do an awesome job as well. I wish our federal government ran as well as our town. I'll be very, very happy with that. Very happy. Yes. Yes, that was awesome. Yep.
Actually got over.
That was his idea.
Yeah.
Over 400 views on it. So people
Yeah.
are definitely interested to know where the truck was. So definitely something we're going to do for future pickups.
That's awesome. Once again, great job, guys. And just want to also mention that with the 2 ribbon cuttings for our town tomorrow, there is also ribbon cutting with the Western Carteret Water Corporation for their facility. And I can't say enough great things about them. You can drink the water in our town. It's great, high quality product, as the water boy would say, high quality H2O. And I support them because they support us as well. So they're having a ribbon cutting at 3 o'clock after all our stuff's done. Please go by, show your love and support for them. And I just can't say enough about how great that water quality is. And also I was handed this, they're having a candidate forum tomorrow online. That's all the candidates running for the town of Cape Carteret commissioner race. Everybody will be there. That's hosted by the League of Women Voters. That's tomorrow from 6 to 8. You can go online. You can pre-register at lwvcarteretcounty.org. If you have any questions you'd like to ask any of the candidates, you can also send them to lwv.nc.cc.gmail. And you can probably go on anywhere of the Facebooks and see this posted. I'll try to post it on the Friends of Carteret, and if somebody that's with any other sites that we have that would be of interest to our citizens. Here again, get out and vote, and your vote matters. It really does, especially in local elections where I think it's the most important. Local and state are so important. You just can't say enough about it. And if you don't vote, don't complain. How's that? And with that, I would love to entertain a motion to adjourn this evening.
I'll make that motion.
All right, a second. And before I call for a vote on that, I just want to thank everybody on this board for the past 2 years that I've been here. Every one of you guys have been exemplary, done an awesome job. We've done so much for this town, and everything's been done, I think, in the thought of trying to do what's best in a timely manner and make sure we're not doing things quickly, but we're doing them right. That's very important. So thank you to all you board members. And thank you once again to our staff. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here this evening. I love to see these seats full. And with that, all in favor of adjourning? Thank you, and y'all have a wonderful week.
Mike.